No, it is. But anyway, so, going back to communism being this sort of all-encompassing slur for, a wide range of ways of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's really, I think, the ultimate kind of cultural takeaway of this era, right?
Yeah.
Is that any kind of, let's say, progressive thinking became verboten and or suspect for a period. And so then in the 1960s, when a new generation comes along, they look back at that and they say, you were hiding things from us. It's almost this reaction against, or
it's kind of a punk rock position to take. Right?
Yeah, well, of course, and anti-establishment,
Yeah,
and
sure.
my parents or whatever, they either they raised me in certain conditions so that I see how everyone else was treated. If you were a red diaper baby, you look at the world through a very particular lens, or you grew up in a world where maybe you just weren't exposed to certain ideas.
Bill Ayers' his father, the Weather Underground terrorist, his father was, I think he ran the Chicago Power and Light Company or something like that. Yeah, I mean,
it was an industrial.
People that come from these backgrounds. It's interesting because there are these patterns. I remember when I studied history in college, what my slightly useless degree is in, but I remember having a debate, a conversation with a girlfriend at the time who, would debate me on everything. But this was the one, she's like, what is the use of a history degree? She was like pre-med, and I said, there are reasons for it. I'll figure it out and explain it later. It's just the easiest thing and what I'm interested in. But the thing that is, we don't pay, the echoes are, it's always the same thing. If you look at the most recent version of this, wokeness, right? This is something I railed against early on because I was living through it in these ways. And then I turned around and said, look at all these Elizabeth Dillings. And again, that's one for you guys to look up at home. I can't explain all these people. There's read a book called Red Channel. She was a housewife. She was crazy, called everybody a communist. And that's everybody now is that, we got to get Jackie Robinson's picture off the wall of the Defense Department because it's DEI. this kind of stuff where there is a concern.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's Dwight McDonald on the left, and there's all these Sidney Hook and all these great liberal anti-communist intellectuals, and then it becomes all these dopes saying Martin Luther King's a communist. Everybody who disagrees is a communist. I mean, these historical echoes are pretty obvious. This happens quite a bit.
Yeah, and this is sort of what I was getting at earlier. It's just we have this inability to confront complicated challenges or obstacles or whatever, however you want to characterize it, with the nuance they require.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and look, I mean, we're a free market country. We're people. There are intellectual entrepreneurs who see ways to build up a brand around whatever the thing is of the moment, and they're not really incentivized to be nuanced. And
no.